previously.
Jenny invites Beam to the mansion for coffee, and she tells him all about the mansion's security.
The second gate only opens once the first is closed.
He hears Mali singing, and it gives him the bubble guts.
So sorry. I'll get you something to eat.
Oh, that's confusing. He runs around and locates Mali, but they're separated by bars. The best he can do is soothe her with a song and tell her he'll be back. Lachu is being interrogated by Raju. It's hardly an interrogation though. He's just asking the one question and beating the hell out of him repeatedly.
Where is your brother?
He manages to catch a snake and toss it at Raju to bite him. Even the British don't have a cure for this poison, so that's curtains for him.
You are going to die within an hour.
Instead of brutally murdering him though, Raju lets him go.
Go. Live your life.
Beam and the others are about to enact their plan when he hears that hot beat from the party. It's Raju, and Beam immediately recognizes the snake bite.
Bandit Crate.
He knows a tribal cure for this poison. He does some tribal stuff and confesses his real name and intentions to Raju.
I am Beam from Gold Tribe.
Now we're at the British party, and as advertised, it's very British.
Lady Buxton, pleasure.
They ram the gates with the truck, and no matter what they think is about to happen, they're wrong. This dude brought the whole jungle with him. Holy crap. Hey, go get that little Indian girl for him. Stat. The animals aren't even the biggest threat. Beam is throwing leopards, beating people with their friends, doing a matrix on a tiger. Dude is sick. They take Mali away and lock the door, and this tubby chunk has the misfortune of having the key. Beam impales him onto a deer and snatches that key. It's looking pretty good for him when all of the scary in the world arrives on horseback. Raju is here to arrest Beam, but Beam refuses to accept it.
I have to arrest you.
He tries not to fight his friend. But when he makes him drop the key, he grabs that mother by his manhandle, right by the pocket monster, and tosses him. This fight gets crazy as hell immediately, and it is great. Their styles even reflect their characters, with Beam relying on a simple, straightforward style focused on honest physical strength, while Raju uses more finesse and manipulation of joints. It's a dope fight, and the animals are still a factor here, so it's really nuts. They fight their way to within sight of Mali. But when they threaten her life, Beam finally surrenders. Raju is promoted to special officer, but he's struggling.
A. Ramaraju is being awarded.
He has a flashback of his father teaching their village military formations and telling them stories about the British.
Do you understand how valuable
Turns out Governor Scott's been saying that vile bullet crap for decades.
it cost the crown 6 shillings? You don't waste it on peasant stock.
The British invade their village, and Dad fights them off until they hit his shooting hand. So he turns to Raju. And baby Raju is already the dopest killer ever.
Load. Aim. Shoot. Shoot.
His mom and little brother are shot, and he just keeps going. His father makes him promise that he will find a way to arm the villagers someday.
Promise me one thing, Ram. A weapon for each one of us.
Bhim is going to be publicly flogged until he kneels.
This criminal will now drop to his knees.
Raju whips him, and he finally falls to his knees. But
He didn't kneel.
this chick takes a spiked whip out of her hoo-ha and tosses it to Raju. Hey, grab the sanitizer. We're still redefining what badass looks like here. So instead of shouting freedom or other F words, he starts singing that soothing melody from his village. They tear our boy up, stretching him out and stuff. I don't think the British see it yet, but these are the faces of people who are just about to pop. Yeah, that'll do it. They bug the hell out on the British. And they're not waiting for rifles. They're ready to tear those British souls out with their bare hands. Raju carries Bhim away, but this affects him. He's been selected to take the next ammo shipment, so he's finally going to get access to the guns he needs for his village.
A weapon for each one of us.
But Bhim's going to be hanged before then,
Bhim will be hanged the day after tomorrow.
and Raju decides to save him and Mali,
could lose your life.
even if it costs him everything. On their way to the hanging site, Raju springs a trap.
Bring me those treacherous scum alive!
And he makes damn sure Mali gets away safely. Bhim escapes his ropes, and he's ready to wreck shop in here. Raju shoots a soldier to save Mali, but Bhim thinks that he was aiming for her, and he almost gauges Raju's eye socket. Months pass, with Raju in his cell, eating just once a week.
Just enough to keep him alive.
But his muscles are feeding off of pure anger right now. So they've actually grown in this time.
Lord! Hey! Shoot!
He's still talking smack too. So they cancel leg day for him. And if you couldn't tell,
Throw him in a solitary cell.
that was the luxury cell. Bhim and Mali are hiding when Bhim sees a familiar half pendant, and he realizes that this woman is Sita, Raju's fiancée. She tells him that Raju is actually working undercover, fighting against the British. We flash back to Raju as a boy. They're pretty much out of ammo, so Dad surrenders.
Lord. Aim.
It's a clever ruse. He's got dynamite strapped to his back, and Raju has to take a shot at his own father to blow up the soldiers and save his village. Yeah, that's a pretty crazy origin story. Raju is scheduled to be hanged in 2 days, but Bhim promises to bring him back to Sita.
I bring back your Ram to you even if I die saving him.
He sneaks into the courtyard and finds Raju's cell. And he's not in the mood to let bars stop him again. Raju straddles his best friend's neck. And that is somehow the beginning of one of the most kick-ass fight scenes you've ever seen in your life. They toss dudes through the air. They do full-on karate kicking stuff. These guys are climbing and doing gymnastics, all from the chicken fight stance. They embarrass the British soldiers for a bit before escaping into the forest. Bhim uses a bandage to instantly repair Raju's leg. The British try to employ a little sneaky sneak, but Raju starts raining arrows down on them.
But now there's arrows coming out of everywhere!
We'll make you run.
He uses a flaming arrow to light the dry grass And before they can rinse the fire out of their hair, Beam comes out of the depths like a sea monster. And they're just slaughtering these soldiers. They're ready to retire Governor Scott, so Raju calls to Beam.
It's time we crush the head of the snake. Let's go!
They bring this story full circle. This plan is pretty straightforward. First, drive up the ramp. You with me so far? Word. That second gesture, that means jump off at the top of the ramp and onto this vine while I get fire on my arrow, and then I'll shoot the motorcycle in midair so that it catches fire, and then it'll crash through the window of the loose explosives depository and everything will explode super big. The building collapses and the only British guy left is Governor Scott. And when he looks up, he finds out his wife is all done having birthdays. Beam shows up with crates of rifles, keeping Raju's promise to his father.
Promise me one thing, Ram. A weapon for each one of us.
Raju pins the governor with an arrow before reminding him of his favorite thing to say.
A bullet that is much more valuable than an Indian's life. Give it back to him, Beam.
Then, he lets him know what his father used to say.
Lord! Hey! Shoot!
They meet with Sita and the others, and it's a happy ending. How should we end this movie? Thumbs up to the camera? Explosion? Nah. We can do better than that. And that is RRR. Rise, Roar, Revolt. This became one of my favorite movies the first time I watched it. It's a longer movie, but it's got such a clean story, and it never lets you get bored. The brotherhood between the main characters is more palpable and feels more honest than anything I've seen out of Hollywood. And both protagonists grow and learn by finding the middle point between their philosophies. I think what I enjoyed most of all was how this movie knew what it was and loved the hell out of it. A lot of action movies these days undercut dramatic scenes with jokes, or they have characters point out cheesy details as a way to self-consciously let us know that they're too cool to actually like these cheesy things. But not RRR. This movie lets you know exactly what it is, and it tells you with all of its chest. That kind of confidence has been missing from our action movies for some time, and this was a breath of fresh air. Reloading this movie was an excellent idea, and I am super smart for that. Jump into the comments and let me know how much you agree, and what you think I need in the brain banks next. Until next time.
New brain, new days.